What is good advice in theory but awful in practice? Never give up. There are times when you absolutely should give up, quite a lot in fact. Had I taken this advice in college, my final GPA would have been much better, but I refused to drop classes I was failing. Had I taken this advice when playing FIFA, my controller would be intact and my television wouldn't be see-through. Next Gen TV. You installed a window in your TV because of FIFA? I'm having a hard time following here. So yeah, I was playing FIFA and I was losing quite badly. Of course, the best course of action is to never give up, and that's what I did. However, because of this, I now have a window in my TV. In fact, there is a whole fallacy of logic behind the idea of never giving up called sunk cost fallacy. While that's primarily based on economics, you can see how the idea can be applied broadly. Just because something has already lost 90% of its value doesn't mean it can't lose another 90% of its value. Sounds like you are talking about Bitcoin. Oh no, Bitcoin will lose 90% of its value, it'll just gain 90% right after. The conversion rate chart is indistinguishable from a seismograph. The right person will come, don't sweat it, not if you're rotting indoors all day every day, and don't bother with hygiene or anything resembling fashion. I get what people mean when they say it, but a lot of the time it comes across like, do nothing, make no effort. I see people give that advice a lot to others that are down on their luck, and it's a nice sentiment, but don't get the wrong idea, a lot of it is luck, but you have to put yourself in a position to be lucky in the first place, if that makes sense. My housemate is unhappy he is single. I give him advice on places to go to meet people, and he always hits me with this, and then gets back on his computer in the basement and doesn't go outside for days on end. You are absolutely right with this one. I hope your housemate gets it sorted out. As unpleasant as it sounds to say, it is absolutely possible to end up alone. People don't like to think about that, but it's not impossible. It really shouldn't be taken as a given that there's someone out there as though it's a guarantee, because if you're not meeting a bunch of someones, then you're going to miss out on the someone that people are talking about. I hope so too. No matter what, he's stuck with me and my husband. I know it's not the same as being romantically involved, but he's never gonna be truly alone, as long as I have the power to be there for him. You're absolutely right, though. That's really cool of you. Sounds like he's got people looking out for him, which is awesome. Be yourself. No, be the best person you can possibly be. Don't be lazy, mean, or a pushover. Be yourself. Unless yourself is an asshole. If you don't deserve me at my worst, or whatever the fuck that shitty saying is. Vile. If you can't handle me at my worst, I don't blame you. I can't handle me at my worst. If you keep going into a place you applied for a job and ask to talk to the manager, you'll get the job eventually. I'm sure this worked before the internet, but no one wants you to keep bugging them for a job in 2020. Never worked for anything but entry-level food service. And I bet it often still does. I actually got a really great sales job for a large nutrition company by bugging the fuck out them. I worked at a sports nutrition store, and I kept telling the local rep if they were ever hiring that I was their guy. Took 2 years, but it was an awesome job. What did you do for 2 years? Make sure your kid comes into contact with germs and bacteria as little as possible so he doesn't get sick. Simple staphylococcus. Oh, you had a sanitary childhood? Licks lips. Why does staphylococcus sound like a neckbeard? Because it loves getting inside pure children and wreaking havoc. We're talking about infectious diseases, not the Catholic Church. I gotta get out of this thread, man. What's the difference? With the Catholic Church it's staphylococcus. You can become anything you want to. Statistically, no. You can't. You should maximize your opportunities and options. If you're a 5'6" Jewish kid with no athletic skill and a heart condition, you're not making the NBA no matter how hard you try. That's what the plastic surgery is for, Kyle. All you need is your teacher's testicles. I'd be willing to sacrifice, I'm not going to use them anyway. I like how him being specifically Jewish lowers his chances. He should have rephrased it as if you are not African American or a white European, you have no chances of making the NBA. Yao Ming would like to have a word with you. Yeah, I know, statistical anomaly. Pretty much. He's 7'3". There also haven't been that many players making it from China since then. Maybe a handful. The same applies to a bunch of other countries or regions. There aren't a lot of players from the Middle East, Central or Southeast Asia. No Mexicans, at least recently. From South America and the Caribbean you have about a dozen last time I checked. The whole "what doesn't kill you only makes you stronger." Lots of shit leaves you a broken down wreck, unable to get back up after not killing you. Ask just about any homeless or drug addict how strong they feel. Along that same line, God doesn't give you more than you can handle. Bullshit. There are plenty of suicides that would disagree. How about people dying of cancer and no treatment is working? The people that break down mentally from PTSD and trauma. I could go on, but I hope you get the idea. I hate that phrase. Fun fact, nowhere in the Bible does it say that line. It's a misconception off of God won't let you be tempted to the point in which you have no chance of resisting. People who say that and stuff like it always make Christians look like Karens who refuse to acknowledge how the world works. I hate this one because it implies that if you are struggling, you are weak. Like, it's within you to overcome this, so if you can't on your own, then it's because you are a failure who is not trying hard enough. It is bullshit. God, life, the universe, whatever absolutely gives just about everyone more than they can handle at some point in their lives. If we could just acknowledge that truth, I think a lot of people would feel more comfortable and less ashamed asking for help when they need it.